Hey, welcome to Brighter Rays. This week we are looking at a study called Do Not Fear, I Will Provide, and we're looking at Genesis chapter 50. So we've made it through the entire book. Now next week we're going to take a look back, we're going to take a step back from this puzzle of Genesis, and we're going to look at, what are the themes that have tied us all together. We're going to take a look back at the picture that we've created here and see what we're looking at. Now today we have the privilege of going to study the last chapter of this great book. We have this whole week to kind of take it apart, think about it. And though we have come to the end of the book, as we will see, it's not the end of the story at all. We won't find all the little storylines, all the themes all wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow for us at the end of the story. It's not really the end of the story, but it's a to be continued. There's a lot of unresolved ideas here. Last time we looked at chapter 49, which was some of the last words of the patriarch Jacob. He gathered all of his sons together so that he could tell them what would happen in the days to come. And to each son, he gave a few poetic words that would encapsulate their future. For Joseph and Judah, he would have most words, and he would tell Joseph's sons that they would become the greatest. They would dominate eventually the northern nation of Israel and would often be referred to as Ephraim, as a nation. And it would be Judah. It would be Judah's family that would be prominent in the southern nation of the aptly named Judah. Of course, all this would happen centuries later. Where we are at in the narrative of the story, Israel is still one family under the leadership of one man, Jacob. The end of the chapter of 49 is the beginning of chapter 50, really. Jacob has blessed his sons, and then he commands all of them, where he had previously commanded Joseph to take his body when he dies and bury it in the land of Canaan. So there they were to bury him in the cave of Machpelah, where his father and grandfather are buried. The last verse of 49 tells us that Jacob drew up his feet into his bed and breathed his last breath. That is where we pick up the story this week. So, what happens now that Jacob is gone? What's going to happen? First, we see that Jacob's sons are obedient to their father, and he is buried in Egypt. But with their father gone, Joseph's brothers begin to become concerned about the future, especially since Joseph is ruler over them, and they did some horrible things to him. Would Joseph seek revenge now that Jacob is not there to prevent it? Was his kindness in the last 17 years just, not a fluke, but he was just being nice because his dad was still alive? Was that all it was? Or was it really genuine? They figured that it was the latter, that it was actually, he was just doing it because Jacob was alive. And then finally we're going to look at the answer to the question of what happened to Joseph in the end when he dies. How does he die? So we get some of those answers there. So that's what we're looking at this week. So come back next time and we'll look at verses 1 through 6 to get this kicked off here and see about the funeral preparations for Jacob and see the little details that God has given to us about that.